I'm back on the lives, back on the lives. It's the first day properly back. I've been doing bits and pieces. And I thought I'd just talk about, we're all getting ready for 2026, like the juggernaut to New Year's Eve. And then suddenly we're back, literally New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Friday, bang, 2026 is here and we're off. Why do so many people struggle to get leads? And this is not me going to go into huge amounts of depth, but if you understand the problem, I've always believed this. If you understand the problem well enough, you can figure out the solution. And I find that many people who are struggling with leads don't take the time to go, why am I not getting leads? And if you go look at that and go, why am I not getting leads? If you start to really understand that, you can actually see where your points of failure are. You can see where it's not working, and you can start to unpick what the problem really is. So I'm a firm believer that if you spend time understanding the problem, you actually are much, much closer to the solution. And very often people will jump to, I need another thing. And this time of year, I've looked at my inbox this morning, this time of year, one man and his dog is selling you the breakthrough. This thing that's going to take you from 0 to 20K a month or whatever. This is the time of year when we are into signing up for stuff to actually grow our business, get healthier, all that, change your career, all that kind of stuff. We are in that mode. And so many people at this time of year will go, do you know what? I'll buy another thing. And fundamentally, before you go, I'll buy another thing, if you don't understand why currently you're not getting a flow of leads, and every business should have a flow of leads. It doesn't matter how big your business is or how small it is. You should have a flow of leads and opportunity coming to you. If you don't have a business. So when I spend time with my clients who come to me because they're very reliant on referrals, usually, or they've had a lot of inbound and now it's starting to dry up, we look at, so why have you not been getting leads? And I'll just talk through the atypical things I see. First off, people who have not been getting leads, it's usually not because they haven't been trying. They've been putting a lot of effort in, posting content, creating lead magnets, launching webinars, writing blogs. They've been doing lots and lots of stuff. So atypically, it's usually not an effort issue. It's usually not an effort issue. My lights keep changing. So you have to look at what's wrong with the effort I've been putting in. Does it clearly entice people to want to know more? Lead generation, getting a client, is a series of curiosity steps. So is my lead magnet, my blogs, are they helping people really understand and why they need me? And I find that when we get to this point, there's effort there, stuff's happening, but the stuff that's happening is not actually making any difference. So you can look at, is anybody seeing it? So when I look at a lead magnet, for an example, I go, how many people have visited it? If a lot of people have visited it and not clicked or downloaded, it means it doesn't resonate. It's real simple. It means it doesn't resonate. So whatever you've created, the people who've seen it are going, yeah, it's not interesting enough for me. It's not interesting enough for me to give you my email address to download it. It's not interesting enough for me to sign up. It's not interesting enough for me to actually book a call. For somebody to become a lead, you have to have something that they want. You have to have a solution, a lead magnet, a piece of content that they really want. So atypically, when I see people who are not getting leads, you are selling something that people don't want. Now that sounds a bit harsh. That sounds a bit brutal. But it's not as brutal as it sounds, because often it's not that what you're doing is no good. It's not that your offer needs rehashing. It's not that you need another program and another secret lead gen tactic. It's the message around what you sell is wrong. What do I mean? There's a saying that for many, many years I fundamentally disagreed with. And it was through naivety, really, than anything else. The saying is, sell them what they want, give them what they need. And for many years, I didn't like that saying. It felt a little bit like bait and switch. Oh my God, what's happening with these lights? It felt like bait and switch. And it isn't, but it took me a while to figure this out. That when you have a problem and you are motivated to do something about that problem, it's usually an external issue. Very few people are actually trying to treat the root cause. What's really going on? They're trying to treat the problem they see. Now, for an example, there are people earning £15,000 a month. In the UK, in the US, there's people earning $15,000, $20,000 a month, which for the average person is a huge amount of money. Those people are also broke. Yeah. So you can have somebody earning $20,000 a month and be deep in debt and broke. Yeah. And no better off than somebody else. We look at that and go, you're obviously spending too much money. But for some people in that situation, they will be going, I need to make more money. And they'll be motivated to make more money. That's an example of somebody treating the symptom rather than the root cause of basically you don't have any self-control on your spending. You're spending too much. That's an example of a root cause issue and a need versus a want. And so sometimes what we have to do is sell to the want and deliver what they need. Now, I'm not going to go to those people earning $250,000 a year and say, I'm going to help you make $300,000 a month. But what I can do is develop a program for them to say, are you at that point where you're earning $200K plus, but you're always, there's no money at the end of the month and you're in debt, you're running on credit cards, you're doing all this stuff. How would it be like to know that you've got 6 months' money in the bank and you can do it really easily without it hurting your finances? And within 3 months, you can be, paying down debt, looking at more opportunities, building recurring income, future income. I can sell into what they want. They want more money. Yeah. Now, how I get that money will be helping them with self-discipline. It will be helping them plan for their future. It will be helping them in lots of different ways. But I'm selling them, I'm marketing what they want, and I will show them, guide them, and deliver what they actually need. And very often, one of the major causes of people who struggle to get leads is they are trying to market and generate leads based on the root cause. And it takes a very, very self-aware person to be in that place where they understand their problem fully. They deeply understand their problem. Because when you understand your problem, you know how to fix it. And then you're just looking for a service to fix it. That's what you call a solution-aware buyer. Yeah. So if you're appealing to a solution-aware buyer, right, with your message, you're actually trying to treat the symptom, the root cause. So you're marketing the root cause. The majority of the market do not understand their problem well enough to know what the solution is. It's just a reality. The majority of people don't understand their problem well enough to actually know what the solution is. I'm telling you now, I'm doing exactly the same thing. Your problem is not activity. Your problem is actually you're trying to sell to people who understand their problem. And by their nature, the people who understand their problem are already on the way to fixing it. And they will go to people they already trust. They will research people. And, if you're new to to the market to them, you're not going to be it. So if you want to actually sell to people, you have to go further up the journey and actually start helping people understand their problem. You have to be talking to people earlier in the buying journey, because you're appealing to people at the end of the buying journey with your message. That's why you're not getting leads, right? You're appealing to a tiny smidgen of the people who you can help. You know, if there's 1,000 people in your total addressable market, you're appealing to basically the 30 people near the end. You're appealing to 30 people, but there are 970 people who are not fully understanding their problem right now. And that's the fundamental misunderstanding of lead generation. If you try and appeal to people at the end of their journey, you end up speaking in solution language, which alienates the majority. It alienates the majority of people because they don't fully understand it. If you're sat there and you've not realized you've got a spending issue, and I know that sounds ludicrous, but some people don't. They don't realize fully that they've got these issues. They don't see that, they're blinded to the real issue most of the time. That's why they need help. Think about it. They need help because they're blinded to the issue, and you're talking about the real issue that they don't see. So this is the major reason why people don't get leads often. It's you're talking to people and it's going over their heads. They don't see why it matters to them. And I see this all the time. And getting people to think in this way is quite difficult. Helping people think about it from the prospect's perspective, getting them to think earlier in their buying journey, earlier in their problem journey, and think, I want to capture leads so I can build trust and be the go-to person for them. I have to go earlier in the journey, because the later in the journey, they're going to go with somebody they know, like, and trust. And if you're coming into them at that point, it's too late. You have to go early in the journey and help them understand their problem. Help them understand their problem. But if you speak to it, assuming they know what their real problem is, you're missing a trick. And one thing that people often don't realize when I'm talking to them is when you appeal to people early in the journey, there is multiple ways to solve that problem. So for an example, that person earning $250,000 or pounds a year and still broke, there's a career coach could help them get a higher paying job. Yeah. They could get specialist lending to kind of consolidate their debts. They could get, they could refinance their home. They could go bankrupt. Or they could control their spending. There's loads of different ways to solve the problem earlier on. And what part of your lead generation job is to show them, actually, this is the best way to solve it. Appealing to people at the end of the journey, they've already got like a prescribed way of thinking about the problem and way of doing it, and you have to fit with them. Earlier in the journey, when they're understanding their problem, or they're just becoming to learn what their problem is, you can help shape how they think about what's the best way for me. You can show them the benefits of doing it your way versus somebody else's way. Further down, when they're solution aware, they're already kind of prescribed, and you've got to fit in with what they want to do. So this is what I see when people struggle with leads. It's usually not a lack of effort. It's usually a fundamental misunderstanding of the buyer and appealing to the buyer too late in the journey. So you're appealing to a small number of people at the end of the journey where you are, maybe brand new, or they've not thought of you in that way before. You want to go earlier in the journey when they're learning and discovering what their real problem is, and they don't quite know what it is yet. You're going to help them do that, and you're going to speak to the problem they see, not the problem that's underneath, hiding behind all of this. You're going to speak to what they want, not what they need. And you're going to help them see that you're going to help them get what they really need, but they don't fully understand that yet. So I thought I'd come live, get this back going, get into this routine again. But this is fundamental. If you're struggling to get leads, don't buy more stuff. Don't, please, right? Don't buy more stuff. Think about, how do I understand my problem better? And my problem is, I I'm not speaking to an audience, to a group of people in a way that motivates them to take a step. Usually, 99% of the time, it's because I'm speaking to what they need, not what they want. I'm speaking to the underlying issue that they don't see, not the problem they do see. And so you have to speak to the problems they see, not the underlying issues that they probably haven't figured out, worked through yet. Start earlier in the buying journey, speak to the problem they see, show them the problem that's what's really going on, become trusted. That's how you capture leads. And then all your effort starts to compound. Your effort does not compound until you start earlier in the journey and really understand the way your prospect thinks about their problem. If you're thinking about from your point of view, you are biased. You have to think about it how they think about it, how they feel it, how they see it. And that's fundamentally different from you, who have helped loads of people solve that problem before. So hopefully this has been helpful. I'm going to get back into the swing of this. I've had a banging headache the last few days. So I was going to work today, but I'm going to take it easy a little bit today. But have a great new year. 2026 is, make a choice now. 2026 is going to be your year. And not because of best intentions, not because you've wrote some goals in a book. You're going to choose every single day. Today is my day. Today is my year. I'm going to overcome every flipping problem. I'm not going to be set back by every problem. Today is my day, and 2026 is my year. And every day make that commitment to yourself. Setbacks, come what may, it's going to be the best year I've had. Make a decision every single day. That's what I'm going to do. And despite all this stuff with the UK tax and all this kind of stuff, 2026 is my year, and I'm going to make it that way. Anyway, Happy New Year in advance, and I'll see you next week back rolling at it. I'll probably go live again today. It's just